As we begin today, I want you to imagine you're going for a drive around the state capital of Missouri, your new home.
Sorry.
You're trying to learn the ins and outs, what streets to use for your daily commute, the best coffee spots to grab a bite in the morning, and a few parks where you can take your dog for a walk. The drive along the Missouri River is peaceful and picturesque until you see it. A looming limestone structure that appears to go on forever. As you get closer, the hair on the back of your neck begins to rise and your spine stiffens involuntarily. Although the massive building appears long abandoned, you can't ignore the feeling of being watched by hundreds of pairs of eyes. You're just about past when a figure walking the perimeter catches your eye. They're waving at you. The best they can, anyway, with the shackles bolted around their wrists and ankles. Heartbeat racing, you push the pedal a little harder to put some distance between you and the building. But when you look in the rearview mirror, the figure has disappeared. You whip your head back to look out the window. How could they have vanished? They were right there. Shaking, you straighten up, your eyes focusing back on the road in front of you, when the car chills, the temperature dropping as a voice whispers in your ear, "Welcome to Missouri State Penitentiary."
Ooh.
You crank the wheel as you scream, your eyes shutting involuntarily. Suddenly your head is thrown forward, the force of the sudden collision causing you to go dizzy. With difficulty, you manage to open your eyes. You've drove headfirst into one of the thick stone fences along the property. Your vision is getting blurry, black spots fading in and out, but not enough to see a parade of people shuffle towards your car, each of them shackled together with a series of chains. Before you know it, like the many souls before you who visited the famed prison, you've been sucked in, and you begin wading into the void. What can I say, everybody? You know, Nat's intro from last week inspired me. So I had to do something creative.
That last bit, all I could think was, Jesus, take the wheel.
Take it from my hands.
Real.
But yes, you heard it right. We're covering the infamous Missouri State Penitentiary today, otherwise known as the bloodiest 47 acres in America, and it's going to be a doozy.
Wow.
Between the 168 years of history, famous inmates, a prison riot, and extensive hauntings, we've got a lot to get into this episode.
I'm ready.
So Nat, if you don't mind, let's do our tarot and oracle and dive right on
Yeah,
in.
I'm ready. All right, so today's oracle for today.
She's vibing. Hey.
Today's oracle is the Wild Mystic Oracle Guidebook, written and illustrated by Anastasia Catrice.
Ooh.
So, today we got the elephant, which represents memory. Of course, people say elephants have a really, really great long-term memory.
They do! I read a story where, elephants that had been used, to perform in the circus together, they reunited after 25 years, and they recognized each other instantly.
That's cute.
I'm like, that's so cute!
That is really cute. So today we actually got the shadow reading, which is, the reversed meaning of the card.
Not so cute!
Yeah, so basically the shadow of the elephant card is forgetfulness. And while this can be seen negatively in terms of absent-mindedness, it can also indicate letting go of painful memories and not paying heed to that which does not serve us. Much like the light reading, which is the upright meaning.
I like it then. I kind of dig it.
Sorry, I was choking for a second. I had to turn my mic off. So much like the light reading, which is the regular, oh my god, what is it called?
You're doing great, sweetie.
Much like the light reading, which is the upright version of this card, which tells us to learn from the memories of loss. The shadow version tells us to learn, but then discard the pain. So it's basically saying, instead of focusing on the absent-mindedness aspect of the card, which is the negative aspect, what have you gone through in your life that kind of haunts you to this day still? And not like oh my god, remember when I said that embarrassing thing, blah, blah, blah. But like something really, really negative, childhood trauma that you still hold on to. This card is basically saying, what can you learn from that trauma? And how can you use what you've learned to heal from that trauma? So how can you take that trauma out of your, like, mental blocks? Like, how are you learning from this, and how do you move forward?
That's a good one.
And then the tarot for today is the Macabre Tarot by Samantha Rook. And we got the Wheel of Fortune upright, which represents a shift of luck and cycles. So the Wheel of Fortune is the changing of the tides. A major shift is coming, and the wheel is about to turn again. If you've been experiencing a bout of bad luck, it's good news for you. However, if you're on a winning streak, it may be time to prepare for a storm ahead. Nothing lasts forever. So this just is signifying that there's some type of shift that's going to be happening in your life. And if you take these two cards together and kind of relate them, maybe it's relating to a past trauma that you're healing from and learning from. And I would see it more as a positive shift. If you take in the Oracle card, you're learning from this, and it's going to benefit you greatly, whatever you've learned. And while nobody wants to go through the negative, traumatic experiences that they have, using that, oh, I learned this from that, is what's going to keep you positive and, I guess, benefit you.
Yeah, those are two really good cards to get together.
Yeah, I think so too.
They're feeding off of each other in the best possible way.
Yeah, definitely.
Now I guess let's talk about things that don't feed off of each other in the best possible way. So, as I told you earlier, we're going to be discussing Missouri State Penitentiary, which is a very, very well-known prison in the paranormal field. Plenty of big names have investigated there. And it was one of the oldest operating prisons west of the Mississippi before it was closed in 2004.
Oh.
So, fairly recently.
Okay, yeah.
20 years ago being fairly recent.
You know what? It feels recent.
But it's fine.
It feels recent.
It's fine. The massive structure sits along the banks of the Missouri River and is currently used as a museum of sorts by the Jefferson City Convention and Visitors Bureau. And looking at pictures of the abandoned prison, it could be hard to imagine, but at one point in time, it was a fully functional and self-operating town of sorts. So similarly to like Trans-Allegheny Asylum that we discussed at the very first episode of this podcast, they were incredibly self-sufficient. They did not rely on outside help.
Even Pennhurst was like that.
Even Pennhurst, yeah, exactly like Pennhurst. However, an abundance of disasters within the confines of the jail caused it to close in 2004. But why was the prison even built? Obviously, you need to house people that are doing illegal bullshit, but this was a different reason. Being Jefferson City was struggling to maintain the capital status of Missouri, so in 1831, the then governor suggested they build a prison.
What?
Yeah, odd power move, but to each their own,
what?
I guess.
How does that even make
He's
sense?
like, yeah, so, we're struggling. No one wants to live here. So let's see, how can we, up our population?
Well,
literally force people to come here against their will.
Well, aren't
prisons do
aren't areas with
contribute.
prisons, like, they get more government funding?
Yes, I believe they do. Plus, they get, at least at this time, I don't really know much about what the prison system is like here in the U.S. now, other than fucking terrible. But,
True.
they did have a lot of, like, manual labor and, like, systems where these prisoners were working that benefited the town.
Oh,
as well.
yeah.
So,
How else to benefit the town by literal slave labor?
free labor. Literally. But regardless, ground first broke in 1834, and the first inmate, named Wilson Eidson, followed not long after in 1836. One of the main forms of punishment or systems used for reformation was construction, like we just mentioned. An interesting fact related to this is that many of the historic homes in Jefferson City that are, like, still standing today were built by inmates at the Missouri State Penitentiary.
Wow.
Yeah, so you have old-ass homes there, and honestly, they're kind of gorgeous. Like, I would hire them to build my house, I guess, but...
I would not want to live there.
No, I feel like you're asking for, like, some bad juju.
You're literally asking to be haunted.
And this isn't uncommon for the prison either. In fact, the A Hall, the oldest existing building on site, was built by the stone quarried on site by the prisoners. So like I said, self-sufficient.
They had a whole-ass quarry?
Oh yeah, Natalie, this whole thing is 47 acres. They had everything. Literally everything.
Can you give me an example of, like, something that is that many acres?
So 1 acre is approximately the size of 1.5 football fields.
So...
imagine a shit ton of football fields.
No. Let's do the actual math. Calculator. App. So you said 47 acres?
Yes, is equivalent to... well, 1 acre is equivalent to 1.5 football fields.
So that is almost a little over 31 football fields.
That's a lot of football fields.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so literally they had everything, I mean. And it was built right along the Missouri River as well, so... but this A-Hall that was used... they used the quarried stone, Jesus, to build A-Hall. This structure was used to house post-Civil War prisoners. So, like, to put that timeline into perspective a little bit for people, like, big historical events in the United States, this was, like, right around the Civil War, pretty much. Now, this might at first seem like every other prison in the United States at the time, but what made it unique was that Missouri State Pen also housed female inmates. The first of which being Amelia Eddy, who was transferred to the prison in 1842.
Amelia Earhart.
She learned how to fly at Missouri State Pen.
This is what actually happened to her.
They were like, "Thou women shalt not fly.
Coconut
Go
crabs?
to the prison."
Nah. Forced labor.
No. The prison was a well-oiled machine, considered one of the most efficient in the country, and was able to house and feed inmates for, on average, 11 cents per day in 1893. Which, if you're wondering what that would be today, that is $3.82.
I'm rich!
I don't know what they were feeding them, but, like, maybe a cracker and a dry packet of ramen noodles.
Yeah.
I don't even think they could afford water at that price, but,
That's crazy.
By the year 1900, the prison had been coined the greatest ever by the Jefferson City Tribune and housed 2,200 inmates. And perhaps the inmates took some strange sense of pride in this, because when the state's capital was destroyed by fire in 1911, they saved thousands of important documents from being lost to time.
What?
They literally, like, ran into the fire and were like, we will save this.
The prisoners?
The prisoners.
How do they even get out to be able to do that? Are they just, like, walking freely around?
No. So, Jefferson City is the state's capital. So, some of it had caught on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And the prisoners, wherever they are, wherever they had been working at the time, were able to save the documents.
So...
Because, like we said before, they were basically leasing these prisoners to use as, like, hands around the town.
Oh, okay,
with, like,
yeah. So they were basically
guard
loose.
supervision.
Loose.
Yeah.
Okay.
However, things began to change for Missouri State Penitentiary when they got one of their first infamous prisoners in 1925. Charles Arthur Pretty Boy Floyd.
Am I supposed to know who that is?
I had a feeling you wouldn't have a single fucking clue who that was.
Charles Pretty Boy Swag!
Floyd pled guilty for his first offense, which was a $12,000 St. Louis payroll robbery.
Okay.
And after being released in 1933, because he literally was, like, a great prisoner. He, like, did nothing. So they were like, good behavior, goodbye, Pretty Boy Floyd. And they released him in 1933. And then he went on to continue his robbing sprees, becoming a wanted man in several states and an outlaw in Oklahoma.
Okay.
So he was doing awesome.
So,
But
like...
after a...
Okay, question before
Yeah.
we continue. Was he actually pretty, or was he, like, Ted Bundy, handsome, and is ugly as fuck?
Pretty Boy Floyd.
He's ugly. Send me a picture.
I mean, he's not my type, but I think somebody would find him attractive. He kind of looks like any white man ever.
Classic.
Anyway, after a fatal shooting...
Wait, I thought you were sending a picture.
Oh, you want to see the
Of
picture?
course!
I
asked
wouldn't
the
even
question
care.
initially.
Fine. God damn, I'm fucking sending it. Copy image. Ta-da!
He looks like an average dude that I'd see
like
at
I said, he
college.
looks like every white man in America.
Like, he literally just looks like he plays football and wrestles and drinks Bud Light.
That is a good description, honestly.
Maybe he's a lacrosse guy. I don't know.
He looks like he could be a lacrosse guy.
Yeah, definitely, like, the side view. Like, what is this haircut? He has just his sideburns shaved to the backs of his ears and then, like, 4 inches of hair.
Don't be so judgmental, Natalie. He invented the fade.
This is not a fade! This is literally, like, he has an entire hairstyle and they just shaved only the sideburns.
Yeah, no, the hair's, like, not there.
And attempted to start a fade and then gave up cutting his hair and left him with literally 5/6 of his hair still there.
Best part is he, like, attempted to style it, but how he did that was to completely flatten the front of it and then swoosh.
Yeah, the whole back half of it is swooshed up. It looks like he's got a cone head.
He's wearing a headband.
I think he's just, like, confused. I don't know. The Pretty Boy name.
He was an outlaw.
It came to his head. It got to his head. Pretty Boy. Like, he thought, like, my swag too different. I smoke too good. Like...
I'm gonna start some trends up in here.
He's trying to be viral in 1925. Like,
oh my god.
I mean,
honestly, we're actually gonna talk about somebody going viral.
Oh my god.
In a sense.
We are. Okay. He's okay.
I mean, I'd give him like a 6.5.
Yeah,
like, he's not bad, but like he's nothing special.
He's square. He's very square.
He is very square.
He definitely
most criminals at this time had like 2 teeth and like barely any hair.
Well, he definitely has
so
like a crossbite.
Like,
look at his jaw.
He's good.
His jaw's so crooked. His lips are crooked.
Yeah,
but that gives him a ruggish charm.
I guess, yeah.
But why is his nickname after his? Why is his nickname after his middle name?
I don't know.
Why did they include the middle name?
They did this a lot.
It's so weird.
Literally, with like every inmate ever, they had a nickname, and they were like, first name, middle initial, nickname, last name.
That's weird. That's so weird.
You will see this trend.
All right. Let's move on from Pretty Boy Swag.
Oh well, I actually have Pretty Boy Swag's little wrap up.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay.
He was involved in a fatal shooting with 4 officers in Oklahoma, and a massive manhunt ensued because he did manage to escape, and he was on the run for like a tiny little bit. But after several weeks, they tracked his ass down, and when he was captured at a farm, they just like shot him dead.
Oh.
So.
Well, on top of this, he looks like he's 5'6".
Oh, totally. He's short.
Yeah, he's a short king. His ego is like 6'5".
But this is also 1925, so like maybe he was tall then.
Maybe. All the people who are
maybe
like
he
short
got some
because
extra
they can't
like
drink
beauty
milk.
points because he was like 5 inches taller than everybody else. All right, now we're going to talk about going viral. Okay? All right. Other famous inmates include Harry Snodgrass.
Oh, what does that mean? That reminds me of Harry the Harker. What was this?
Harry the Hawker.
Harry the Hawker.
Yeah, this is Harry Snodgrass.
Snodgrass. Is it a weed? I don't know.
That's his last name.
Oh, that's his actual name. I thought that was his nickname.
That is his actual name. He didn't get a nickname.
Oh, he's lame.
Well, he did, but it was after. Oh. And he was known as, and here's the nickname, King of the Ivories, because of his amazing skills on the piano during his sentence.
Wait, what was his nickname?
King of the Ivories.
What
like the piano keys.
King of the Ivories. He really sucked his own cock with that one.
Oh, no, he did not, because fucking get this.
Okay.
Every Monday night, a local radio station would broadcast the prison band known as Peaceful Village Band, and they were incredibly popular with the people in Jefferson City.
Oh my god, the people in... What is this town called? Jefferson City, Missouri.
Jefferson City. It's the capital of Missouri.
Oh my god, they were sucking his cock.
They loved him.
They loved the prisoners.
Oh, they do. Like, they were, like, big members of this fucking society. It was
crazy.
Nuts.
I mean, what better way to get people to come into your city if you're literally offering to build their houses with free labor?
That is fair. And you're going to provide them free entertainment.
Exactly.
As well.
That's actually smart. I mean, it's fucked up now, but...
Oh, it's totally fucked. But, like, you can't say it wasn't a smart business move,
I guess it's cool because they're not completely dehumanizing these criminals.
Yeah, no, they're absolutely not. Don't get me wrong. They are not dehumanizing these criminals.
Because I feel like that happens a lot now.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
and I'll kind of get into, like, the injustice of it all a little bit later.
Okay.
But I wanted to give you kind of a rundown on some of the more infamous people that were impactful over the prison for a hot minute.
Alright, so we got the Pretty Boy Swag, King of the Ivories.
Yep, and we'll get into some others. One, I hope you fucking know who it is.
Okay.
But we'll get there. Anyway, an announcement of Snodgrass's release was made over the radio. And, the citizens of Jefferson City were so concerned that he was going to be impoverished after he was released and not be able to survive that more than $2,000 at that time was raised for him to readjust for life outside of the prison walls.
Holy shit. That's like $50,000.
Oh yeah. No, I'm telling you, they fucking love this
That's
guy.
crazy.
Like, he was like their Elvis, okay?
Yeah, that's so crazy. What was he in jail
Better
for?
yet. I think it was something like petty crime.
Oh.
Like, maybe like theft.
Uh-huh.
Like, he wasn't like a murderer.
Yeah.
Or someone who did like something actually like...
Nefarious.
Yeah.
Or diabolical.
Yes.
All right.
Better yet, at his last performance as an inmate, a crowd of more than 1,000 people attended.
Wow.
Yeah, so people were like, oh my god, what are you doing Friday night? Oh, didn't you know Harry Snodgrass is getting released on Saturday, so he's performing. We're gonna go visit and watch. And they were like, oh my god, that sounds like a great idea. I'll go too.
Papa Snotty. We must go.
Are you ready to hear about Harry Snodgrass's end?
Oh, I guess so.
Because I'm telling you, it's a lot different than Pretty Boys.
Okay.
Upon his release, he toured under the Brunswick record label and was later granted a full pardon in 1926.
Wow.
Yeah, so these guys were like, yeah, he plays a mean piano.
This guy is awesome.
Let's give him a full pardon.
And you know what? Maybe he wasn't a bad guy, and maybe he did something out of
desperation. He might
desperation.
have just gotten mixed up in something,
yeah.
Right?
So. And
I'm sure that was the case for many of the prisoners there, obviously. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is like the mid-1800s, early 1900s at this point. Mm-hmm. So there really was no separation between, like, petty criminals and, like, serial killers. So you did have a decent mix, but you also had racism, which we'll kind of touch on a little bit later.
Yeah.
So many of the inmates here might not have actually committed a lot of the things that they were charged for because, like I said, this is before...
This is in Missouri.
The Civil Rights Act.
First of all, this is in Missouri.
Yes.
Before the Civil Rights Act. Before fucking the year 2000.
Yep, pretty much. So, let's keep going. I have just a couple more inmates to touch base on. Okay. And then we'll kind of go over the heinous crimes and a little bit of the hauntings. Okay. Our next guy is John B. Firebug Johnson.
Oh.
And he caught the public's attention when he attempted to escape several times.
Okay.
But his real showstopper was when he set a fire that destroyed more than $500,000 worth of property and caused the death of several inmates.
It's in his name.
It is.
Firebug.
That's totally how he got his nickname.
Was he arrested because of arson?
I don't know what he was arrested for initially.
I wouldn't doubt it.
But he definitely loved fire.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he's obviously a pyromaniac.
Because after this incident, they basically brought him back into the judicial system, and he was then convicted of arson, given an additional 12 years, and locked in the dungeon for many of them.
The dungeon!
The fucking dungeon.
The dungeon.
But don't worry too much, because things are looking up for John.
Oh.
Because when he was released, Because, yeah, he was fucking released even after he spent $500,000 that time worth of fire damage and committed murder. They were like, yeah, he's fine. He published a book titled Buried Alive for 18 years in the Missouri State Penitentiary.
That's fucked up. What the hell?
So they, like, stuck his ass in solitary confinement, and he was just like, you know what? Let's make the best of it. I'm gonna start a novel.
I mean, what else can you do when you're in the fucking dungeon?
I guess. Day 1. I'm in the dungeon. It's dark.
Day 1.
Day 2.
I still haven't
I'm in the dungeon.
To eat.
It's dark.
It's fucking dark in here.
They haven't fed me in 3 days.
I think my eyes are adjusting. I'm starting to see the mole people. I have day 45. I have made friends with the mole people. They have given me small trinkets and dead bugs.
Day 106. The mole people have found food for me.
Day 252. The mole people have decided that I will become the father of their children.
Day 365. 1 year in. I am the mole people's king. Oh my fucking god.
That was great.
Speaking of kings, let's transition to 2 fucking queens, shall we?
Oh, shit.
We're talking about 2 of the most famous female inmates within Missouri State Pen.
Mm-hmm.
And these lovely, badass women are Emma Goldman and Katie Richards O'Hare. Love the name, by the way. Great first name choice on their mother's part. Both of these women were imprisoned for activist work, as were many of the women prisoners at this time, not just at Missouri State Pen, but across the country.
Of course.
Goldman for espionage, and O'Hare for inciting a riot.
Excuse me, what? Can we go back? Did you just say espionage? As in she was a spy?
Yeah.
What the hell?
She was fucking spying. She was cool as shit.
What was she doing to get arrested for espionage?
I have no fucking idea. But her husband honestly might not have liked her at all, and he was just like, she's spying on me, and they were like, espionage.
She's a communist. Communist spy.
Who fucking knows?
I don't know if O'Hare, at this point, is before or after the Red Scare.
Before, I think.
Okay.
Well before.
Okay.
O'Hare was, charged for inciting a riot while advocating the use of birth control and the opposition to World War I.
God forbid a woman have intelligent opinions.
I know.
God forbid she doesn't want to be pregnant and barefoot.
Fucking Christ.
God forbid she doesn't want to be in the Bible Belt of Missouri, pregnant and barefoot. Yeah, I'm looking at you, evangelist.
While she waits on her husband to fight the First World War.
Yeah. Lame that she got arrested.
Both of them.
Well, yeah, the spy shit. That I can't even fathom that.
That's cool. Okay.
It depends on what she was doing, but overall, probably pretty cool.
I mean, I think it was for, women's rights that she was spying for. I don't know if she was, snooping around her husband's meeting when they were talking about, turning this into the Handmaid's Tale. I don't fucking know, but...
Yeah.
These are 2 badass women, okay?
Yeah.
And they left their mark on the penitentiary. Literally, they would host, speeches to the other women, within their cell block and, get them all riled up about, women's rights and shit. And it was kind of neat.
I love that.
And, their impact would continue to be felt across the country for years honestly, we can probably thank them for fighting for many of our rights today. They're some of the early activists for, feminism and equal rights for women.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
Now we have one interesting tidbit. Okay. So Emma Goldman, she was not forgiven for her espionage because how fucking dare she? But Kate Richards O'Hare, her sentence was commuted by President Woodrow Wilson. And she was released in 1920 because the President of the United States was like, nah, let that bitch out.
Okay, Woodrow Wilson.
Let her eat.
Okay. Word.
Later, she then received a full pardon from President Calvin fucking Coolidge, the only president to be a Vermont native.
Let's go! Woo!
We love Calvin Coolidge.
Well, I don't know what he did.
Thank you for doing something cool before you died in the fucking bathtub. At least I think it was him that died in the bathtub.
I literally don't know.
Hold on, I'm looking it up. So, I don't fucking know if he died in the bathtub. I know some president did, but he died at age 60.
Who the fuck?
From a coronary thrombosis.
Oh, damn.
In his home.
Oh, damn.
So, to each their own. But, Vermont native, go Calvin. Okay.
You are looking for William Howard Taft.
That's who died in the bathtub.
He installed an 8-foot-long bathtub in which he died in. I mean, honestly,
Love
it worked.
that for him.
That's such a swag way to die, in a giant-ass fucking bathtub.
I would love a bathtub that's the size of a mini pool.
Right?
Why not? Was that like in his own personal residence, or was that at the White House?
Let me see. I guess he was morbidly obese, and that's why he died.
He got fucking stuck.
Yeah. Me as fuck.
All this time, I thought it was Calvin Coolidge.
Where did I just see that it was 8 feet? Oh, okay. For Taft Suite, the Hotel Taft in New Haven, Connecticut, is where they installed.
Of course, it was also in fucking Connecticut. Like,
yeah, right. As if Connecticut couldn't get any worse. How William Howard Taft had to die of obesity stuckness in a big giant bathtub. Gosh. Fuck you, Connecticut.
We have to love the New England love, Literally, like, only New Englanders can be like, yeah, fucking Connecticut sucks ass. But anytime anyone that's not from New England says anything about any New England state, we're like, eat shit and die.
Don't talk about New Englanders like that!
Yeah, Connecticut kind of fucking sucks, but not as bad as you.
Right. At least we're not Maryland.
Ugh.
Don't even get Katie started.
Those bitches. The last time I went to Disney, I had a layover in Baltimore, and I thought I was gonna yak.
The vibes are bad.
I was like, this place fucking sucks.
The vibes are off. I'm uncomfortable. I hate it here.
It smells like Maryland.
It smells like Maryland. If Maryland had a smell, it'd be bad.
It's just fucking depressing.
It's just depressing seafood.
Ugh. Nasty. They aren't as cool as MCO, where they have a fake man made out of wax in a box.
Excuse me, what?
You haven't seen that art piece?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the dude who's, like, waiting.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. I'd shit myself if I saw that.
They just updated it this year.
Where is
like,
that?
Like, literally the fucking week before we went to Disney. It's at the Orlando International Airport.
Yeah, that's disturbing. If I saw that, I'd blow it up. Do not write that down. Do not clip that. Do not.
She does not
I'm
mean
on the fucking
what she
FBI
just said.
wanted list.
You probably are. Now this fucking pod's getting flagged.
Hell yeah.
As if it wasn't already. Anyway, let's talk about our last prisoner. And this is one I really fucking hope that you know who he is. Because if you don't, it means our education system absolutely failed.
Oh, God. You're gonna really expect me to believe this, or to remember this shit?
I hope you would.
Is it like Bonnie and Clyde or some shit?
It is kind of a turning point in our country's history.
Oh. Okay.
The most well-known inmate is a man named James Earl Ray. Is that ringing any bells?
James Earl Ray. Is he an activist? James.
I'm just gonna continue.
James Earl
and I'll
Jones.
let you decide.
James Earl Jones.
You are gonna hate yourself when you
Is
find
he like
out
Malcolm
who this
X?
fucker is. No. In 1959, Ray and a friend held up a grocery store, and upon being convicted, were sentenced to 20 years at the Missouri State Penitentiary. However...
Did I really just say is he Malcolm X?
Oh, it's going to get worse for you.
Oh, God.
However, his most famous act came after his escape in 1967. Ray reported to the prison bakery in the morning, because that's where he was assigned to work, and he squeezed his ass into a large box that was used to ship loaves of bread. Soon, a truck picked up the order and left the prison.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where you're gonna eat your fucking words, Nat, and be absolutely mortified. Almost a full year later, James Earl Ray's name would make headlines for assassinating
JFK?
Martin Luther King
Oh.
Jr. on Thursday, April 4th, 1968, in Memphis, Tennessee.
I thought I got it the fourth try. Oh my God! No,
You're like, is he an activist? I'm like,
I
yes, but for the wrong
have
cause.
literally never heard that man's name in my life.
Yeah, well, he's the guy that killed Martin Luther King Jr., so...
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah. You're like, is he an activist? I'm like, for the
Literally,
wrong side, I guess?
You said for killing, and I said JFK.
Jesus Christ.
Who the fuck did that? What is his name?
They don't know who killed JFK.
Well,
it's a
they
fucking
have an
mystery,
idea who it was.
dumbass.
It was that guy.
Yes,
Lee
but-
Harvey Oswald? Is that his name?
Isn't it the guy that assassinated Abraham Lincoln?
Oh my Jesus. What the hell's going on? Lee Harvey Oswald.
No, that was John Wilkes Booth.
No, Lee Harvey Oswald is the U.S. Marine veteran who assassinated John F. Kennedy, the 35th president of the United States. See, I knew one thing in my life.
Yes, good job. I was saying that it was John Wilkes Booth who assassinated Abraham Lincoln.
Yes. That I also know.
Clearly we're doing great.
Wow.
The U.S. education system is a fucking joke.
Hashtag public school.
Public school system. Hot take. Don't let each county's taxes define where the money goes for the education system.
Hot take.
Cheers.
Hot take. Do not have state...
Public funding.
No.
For the system.
No, we need public funding on a national level, but we also need national standardization of schools, not state-level standardization, because all you're learning about in fucking Texas is Jesus, so...
That is a fair point.
And you're not learning about sex ed in a lot of the Bible Belt states, and that's why young women are forced to have children at very young ages and not able to do anything with their lives because people think that they're not worth anything besides their vagina.
Cheers! Yeah! Anyway... James Earl Ray was later apprehended and served time at the River Bend Maximum Security Facility in Nashville, where he died in 1998.
Wait, what?
Yeah, 1998. Like, Martin Luther King Jr., like, had he been allowed by this fucking asshat to live a full life, would have probably just died within, like, maybe 10 years or so. Like, 10 years prior to now.
Yeah. That's...
Perspective.
That's crazy.
Just like how, why can't I remember her name? The, young girl who, integrated into the white school system.
Oh.
Ruby Bridges.
Okay, yeah.
She's still fucking alive.
Isn't that so insane? People...
And it's because they put all of the textbook pictures in black
Yes!
and white, even when they were in color, to try and trick you into thinking that it was
so
like
long
years and
ago.
years and
Because
years ago.
Literally, the education system wants you to forget that America is a horrible place and treats people horribly, and that racism is still alive to this day.
Oh, very much so.
It's insane!
True that. Now that we know our cast of characters,
Now...
let's backtrack a bit.
Now we know!
Now we fucking know! We have the King of the Ivories and the guy that killed Martin Luther King. So, doing
Which
great.
is crazy. Wait, okay, when did Martin Luther King die?
Thursday, April 4th, 1968.
Did you say that already?
I did.
1968. Yeah, I think my papa was there.
Oh. Like marching with him or whatever?
Oh, actually, no. He was at the I Have a Dream speech.
Oh, I would have fucking
He
loved
was
to see
at
that.
the barricades, like, blocking people with big metal fences. Like, that they were literally just holding up.
I love that for him.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Are you ready to talk about what occurred between 1953 and 1954?
Tell me all the fucked up shit. Lobotomies?
No, we're talking about a series of prison riots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so across the U.S., there is a ridiculous amount of prison riots. Like, all these prisoners are hearing on the radio about how X prison revolted and Y prison fucking killed the guards and all that shit because public radio.
Mm-hmm.
And the people of Missouri feared that the penitentiary would be, you know, next on the list. And boy, oh boy, were they right.
Oh, jeez.
In the early hours of the evening on September 22nd, 1954, 2 inmates pretended to be ill to attract the attention of a pair of guards.
Okay.
Upon entering the hall where these inmates were to investigate, the guards were overpowered and their keys were stolen.
All right.
After beating the guards bloody, the prisoners made their way along the entire cell block, releasing inmates as they went. Soon the inmates were loose, running around the facility and emptying other cell blocks. Until every single fucking prisoner within Missouri State Penitentiary was released.
Holy shit.
This is thousands
Oh my
of prisoners.
God.
Like, multiple thousands of
Yeah.
prisoners. In the dining hall, windows and chairs were broken, and in the workshops, things were set ablaze.
Oh, jeez.
Completely on fire.
Oh, no.
Quickly, the police were called, and by midnight, Kansas City and St. Louis police, the National Guard, and local police had surrounded the prison.
Oh, my God.
Still, prisoners were causing trouble, throwing bricks and chunks of concrete at the warden's office and the people outside.
Oh, my gosh.
4 buildings were fully on fire, and more were being started.
Firebug.
By this point, almost 2,500 inmates were loose within the walls, and shit was hitting the fan.
Yeah. Yeah.
At this point, one inmate in solitary confinement ended up being tortured and murdered by his fellow prisoners.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, so literally all hell is breaking loose. It's awful.
Oh my gosh.
This behavior continued throughout the night and until the morning, until the massive fires forced the inmates to take shelter.
Oh, no.
Officers finally gained control, seizing the opportunity of them basically all fucking running from the flames, flushing out small groups, and capturing the ringleaders who had started this whole disaster. 245 troops ended up storming the grounds, and by the time Missouri State Pen was reclaimed, 4 officers were injured, 4 inmates had been killed, 50 inmates were injured, and 1 had actually attempted suicide.
Holy shit.
Several chunks of the building were still on fire at this point, and the first responders continued to fight against this man-made storm. But in the end, it's estimated that the damages cost nearly $5 million.
$5 million?
$5 million in 1954.
Holy fuck.
Which I did not look up this conversion, but let me do so. Today, that would be $58 million, $58,054,275.09.
Holy shit.
So, nearly $60,000 in damages from one night alone.
That's insane.
Firebug Johnson was rolling over in his grave thinking of all the shit that was going on. And, like, that's all of the big happenings at Missouri State Pen. But if that wasn't bad enough, the penitentiary was well known for their use of capital punishment and cruel methods of torture. All of which came to an end, however, in 1989 when capital punishment ended in the state of Missouri.
Interesting.
At that point, all of the prisoners on death row were moved to different facilities. They didn't even keep them within Missouri State Penitentiary. They were like, yeah, we can't kill you here, so, like, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Prior to this decision, prisoners were forced to endure various treatments, quote-unquote, such as solitary confinement. Yeah. But they knew they were going to meet their end when they were sent to the on-site gas chamber.
Oh, goody!
Yep. Gas chamber.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
In September of 1937, and do you need a moment to digest that, or are we good to...
I'm good. I'm shocked, but I'm good.
Yeah. In September of 1937, Governor Lloyd Crow Stark signed a bill that permitted execution by lethal gas.
Okay.
Many members of the legislature were strongly opposed to the bill, but Missouri as a whole supported the death penalty for serious crimes.
Mm-hmm.
In total, at Missouri State Penitentiary, 40 inmates were put to death in the gas chamber between 1937 and 1989.
Holy crap.
Now, let's kind of talk about the breakdown of these prisoners that were executed by use of the gas chamber, and we can kind of chat for a tiny bit on perhaps why they were there.
Okay.
So, 23 of the inmates that were executed by the use of the gas chamber were black men.
Oh.
One of them was a woman named Bonnie B. Hetty, who was convicted for kidnapping and killing a man, and the remainder were white men.
Whoa.
So, between 1937 and 1989, 23 of these black men that had been killed within Missouri State Penitentiary, I looked through, they literally have a record of every single inmate that was executed by, lethal gas, I guess, at Missouri State Penitentiary on the Missouri State Pen website. So if you're interested in looking at that, I'd definitely go check it out. They have a very good and well done history section on their website.
Okay.
But they list the full names of these inmates, when they were indicted, when they arrived at Missouri State Pen, what their crimes were, when they were to be executed, and they even list their last meal if they had it on record. So, like, that's pretty interesting to see. But I was reading through a lot of the executions of the black men in particular, and many of them were there for either petty crimes, like robbing a store, or they were there for, like, the murders of children.
Oh.
And I'm like, not to play the devil's advocate here.
Did they actually murder the children,
like,
or were they framed?
That's what I'm questioning. Because, like, I wasn't there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this is the early days well before the civil rights movement.
And, like, DNA.
In the state of Missouri.
And stuff like that.
Yeah. So I'm like, I feel like a good portion of these men were probably framed.
Yeah.
A lot of them were very young men, all in their early 20s. So I'm like, I feel like something's a little fishy here.
Yeah.
But like I said, I was not there.
Yeah.
They could have killed the people. I don't know. But it just seems fishy for the state of Missouri to have executed more than half of the people that they did in Missouri State Pen for them to be people of color.
Yeah.
So, yeah, who knows? In 1991, the prison ended up being renamed to Jefferson City Correctional Center, kind of as a way to separate itself from the kind of, like, horrific past happening at Missouri State Penitentiary.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't remain open for long after then and was decommissioned in 2004, like we mentioned earlier. On Wednesday, September 15th, the remaining 1,355 inmates were moved to other prison across town to literally the new correctional center, also by the name Jefferson City Correctional Center.
Oh, okay.
So at this point, I guess the building was kind of falling into disrepair, a lot of it being so large that they couldn't keep up with it any longer. So they ended up just building a whole new prison on a smaller scale to house these inmates. Now, as we mentioned earlier, the site acts as a museum and is well known for history tours and paranormal investigations. But speaking of the paranormal of it all, let's chat about the hauntings a little bit, shall we?
All right.
Pause for a water break. Doing a lot of talking this afternoon. So at first, I'm just going to kind of do a quick run through of the different things experienced at Missouri State Pen by people that have gone on investigations. And then I'm going to read, I believe, 2 or 3 personal experiences from people that I was able to find online.
Okay.
I thought that would be kind of fun to get, like, an actual visitor's perspective on what they experienced there. So the first thing people experience at Missouri State Pen are the shadow people.
Oh.
Many visitors and paranormal investigators claim to have seen shadowy figures moving throughout the prison, particularly in the cell blocks and hallways. And these shadowy apparitions are often associated with feelings of unease and dread.
Great.
And there's actually... Yeah. Did you say wait or great?
I said great.
Oh, I thought you said wait, so I'm like, what?
Yeah.
There is actually a lot of photographic evidence of these shadowy figures online surrounding Missouri State Pen. So if you want to look at those, definitely, like, literally just do a Google search and a bunch will pop up.
Yeah, that's cool.
And they're kind of crazy.
Yeah.
The next is voices and EVPs. So EVPs, or electric voice phenomena, recordings are captured by investigators and have allegedly captured the voices and sounds believed to be the voices of former inmates or prison staff. So a lot of the times the voices are kind of unintelligent, or they'll make very strange, eerie remarks, kind of similar to, like, get out, or, like, we don't want you here, or kind of things like that. But this is something that's captured quite a bit at the penitentiary. Another thing are cold spots. Many visitors have reported sudden drops in temperature in certain areas of the prison, even where the rest of the building remains warm.
Interesting.
So these cold spots definitely are not natural.
Yeah, they definitely don't
like
sound it.
And a lot of times these people attribute these cold spots to obviously the presence of a spirit of some sort. But where are most of these interactions with the paranormal taking place? The first spot is in cell block 4, which is particularly notorious for paranormal activity. This is where visitors have reported hearing disembodied voices, footsteps, and other unexplained noises within the walls. And this is a hot spot for seeing those shadow figures or apparitions of former inmates. And they'll actually walk along, like, the ledges outside the cells on the different floors, like on different levels. The other location is obviously, you can probably guess it, in the gas chamber.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So Missouri State Pen was actually one of the few prisons in the U.S. to have an active gas chamber. I do not know who the other prisons were, like where they're located.
Yeah, that is just
many people believe that
that is just so insane that they just had a gas chamber.
Yeah, I cannot imagine having a gas chamber.
I'm not over it. I wasn't ready to move past it. But, yeah.
But she was like, I do not want to talk about this anymore.
It's just fucked up.
It really is.
And that a majority of the people killed were black is even more fucked up.
Yes. And they were very young. Their sentences were very large for a lot of them for what they had done. So it's like, oh my fucking God.
Really fucked up.
Many people believe that the spirits of those people that were executed in the gas chamber still haunt the area, leading to reports of strange occurrences and feelings of immense discomfort. So people hear voices, they feel like people are touching them, or like, this is like a dual gas chamber, so there's multiple seats. They would commit these executions like 2 at a time. So like, people will be sitting in one seat and they will feel like someone else is sitting in the other seat with them. Or they'll hear, like, knocking on the outside of the chamber when no one else is with them.
Yeah.
Which, no thank you.
No thanks.
Fuck you. Fuck you very much.
Hell no to the now.
Now. Hell to the now. Okay, let me see here. Now, I am going to actually try and send you one of these pictures from the stories. Okay. It doesn't look like it's working.
Okay.
Damn. Okay. I am going to text it to you.
Okay.
So you can see it that way.
All right. Are these people, like, standing in the cell doorways?
Yes.
Weird.
So they're basically prisoners kind of coming out of their cell.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Or, like, lingering in the openings.
This is crazy.
So this first story comes from One-on-One with the Undertaker on Reddit. Great name. And they say, last summer, I was fortunate enough to be able to go on an investigation at the Missouri State Penitentiary. And it was a blast. I don't know the specific tour I went on, as I wasn't in charge of booking it, but we got to go through several of the buildings and had a couple of encounters as well.
Okay.
The first encounter was in the showers, oddly enough. One of the holding areas. Our guy lit up a cat ball and tossed it into the shower, and it lit up with a shadow on the wall.
Okay. Which
was really cool to see.
Sure.
I'm just picturing the frickin' tour guide like, yeet, fucking cat ball.
Yeah.
The second encounter was much more intense. We were in the death row section of the prison in a basement, and our guide was trying to get some of the spirits there to show themselves, but they wouldn't. So to draw them out, our guide began to talk about something unrelated to the tour, and we looked toward the end of the hallway, toward the only source of light, and witnessed a shadow figure begin to slowly creep out from behind the wall leading around the other side of death row. It was such a surreal experience to see that. So that was the story that went along with the picture.
That's crazy. They're talking about, like, KFC, like the double down chicken sandwich with just chicken as the buns. And the ghosts are like, yes. Y'all say something?
The prisoner's like, what? Let me get some of that.
Double chicken sandwich? That sounds lit as hell.
Let me sign up for that. Be on death row. I want that to be my last meal, please. KFC, fucking family 12-piece bucket, please.
No, you gotta do the famous bowl and the mac and cheese bowl together.
Natalie, what? This is their last meal. They can order whatever the fuck they want. I'd be like, give me the whole KFC menu.
That's true. Do they still do Cinnabon?
One of everything.
Bites?
But that's Taco Bell.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
They have the Taco Bell. We have that combination.
Yeah, we got the KFC Taco Bell, y'all.
So I actually have one more story, and this one has some trigger warnings.
Oh, great.
So, trigger warning, mention of death, vomit, and sexual harassment.
We love vomit.
And this is from user Tori J 20,000.
Okay.
This happened to me at the Missouri State Penitentiary in 2017. So this one is honestly pretty recent. When I was 16, my class and I took a trip to the Missouri State Penitentiary in Jefferson City, Missouri. We were traveling as a group from our AP government class, and I was with friends in the old jail. While we were in the old jail, they had us walk up to the different levels of the building where all the cells were, and they would sound an alarm and have those cells close, and everyone walk down the flight of stairs. So they were trying to give them the whole frickin' experience. They were like, guess what? You get to know today. You gonna find out. However, when I was walking down the stairs, I slowly felt what I thought felt like 5 separate fingers touch my lower back.
What the hell?
Almost my butt.
What the hell?
My friends were behind me, and we would go for round every once in a while and tease each other, so I assumed they were teasing me. I turned to look at them and say, hey guys, why did you grab me? And they were a flight and a half above me.
Oh, shit.
There was no way for them to rush down, grab me, and run all the way back up the stairs without making any noise. My other friend, who was in front of me, raised his hands and said, I didn't do anything.
I didn't do it.
Obviously, he couldn't have reached around, and I, to this day, do not know what grabbed me.
Weird.
In the past, I have experienced getting grabbed inappropriately or catcalled a few times, not ghostly encounters, and there have been many times where I've had to leave an area or avoid a place due to an experience I had. This was all different. All I know is for the rest of the time, it felt like someone was watching me. I kept turning around as if I expected someone to talk to me. I felt uneasy and like I was being followed for the entire trip.
Weird.
And I couldn't sit in a gas chamber chair, which I really did not want to do, as if something was holding me back. There was no way I was going to be able to sit, and eventually I had to leave early before everyone else because I felt like I was going to vomit or fall over. I got so dizzy. I've tried to explain my situation for years and still have no idea what happened that day. All I know is that a ghost wanted to be really friendly and obviously did not like that gas chamber.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then someone commented, Sensitive Pie 4246 said, I believe you. Period.
Okay, work.
Thank you, Sensitive.
Thank you for validating that person.
They needed your validation. Yeah. But those are the stories I have, and that, my lovely friends, is Missouri State Penitentiary.
Okay.
I chose to keep the sections on the hauntings kind of brief, since honestly, words really do not do the hauntings at Missouri State Penitentiary justice. Yeah. I feel like it's kind of something you need to see or experience in person. Something I hope that we can do one day. Yay. But if you're looking for something to watch and experience these horrifying interactions on screen, Ghost Hunters investigated the location back in 2011. Destination Fear did so recently as well. And so have several other shows like Portals to Hell and even Ghost Adventures, if that's your jam. So, yeah, you have options. That's all I'm saying. But definitely go give one of them a watch. At least one of them. They're really, really good. And that's, all I got. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was kind of a different format than what we usually do a little bit, but I wanted to think outside the box,
Yeah, I liked it.
So I guess stay, alert, turn your notifications on for, new episodes. Mm-hmm. Be sure to follow the podcast on whatever you're listening to if you don't already.
Yeah, because what the hell?
And find us on social media at Wading Into the Void. We're on Facebook and Instagram.
And we have YouTube videos coming out now. So, stay on the lookout for those. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Yes. Push notifications on.
Yes!
Because
we have some really exciting content coming down the line.
Exactly. Woo, woo, woo!
We're talking multiple investigations already planned. Mm-hmm. So be ready, bitches.
Hell yeah.
On that note, thanks for listening today, and we will catch you next time.
Bye.
Adios.